Well, just popped something in my back. Well, that felt weird. I just came back from a week-long trip, including today. I got here in the early morning, and then I had to go out for another 30-minute drive to go pick up something I left at an hour away place when I was going seeing my family. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but you know what? It's showtime! Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my nighttime gal. I'm glad there's no video because that would have been a little bit embarrassing. Just a little bit. You know. But, you know. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Anyways, well, I was trying to, I had an idea of where I'm going to be going, and I'll get to the very end because I want to discuss Ip Man 2. And I call it Ip Man, IP Man. I could go with IP, but I think it's Ip. I think I've addressed it as IP Man to somebody who was actually a devoted watcher of all these films, and they kept saying like, no, it's Ip. It's Ip Man. It's like, okay, no, it's not. And then, I finally came to, and Ip Man is actually the thing. But in Ip Man 2, Legend of the Grandmaster, that was made in 2010, there's an incredibly... it's a great film. It's one of the greatest films for martial arts, in my opinion, or at least in the last decade. But it is communist propaganda. It is Chinese communistic propaganda. And there's a lot of movie issues with that. Again, we're going to kind of be okay with it being, as long as we know and are aware that it is Chinese communistic propaganda, it's okay, because now we're going to start focusing on the issues in it and what was so amazing about this movie. But I was trying to look up some news reviews, and I went to hellogiggles.com, hellogiggles.com, when I was trying to look up just entertainment news. I was just trying to find something, and the first thing that came up was Black Survivor contestants say show perpetuated racist stereotypes. So, Black Survivor contestants say the show perpetuated racist stereotypes. And the first reaction I have to this is because of all the current BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter is a political movement. LGBTQ plus is a political movement. So the reasons that I'm always skeptical about Black Lives Matter or LGBT is that it is a political movement. Is that they will vote to put me in a place of prison where rapists and murderers are if I disagree with them. That's why I'm hesitant about it. It's like, oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm hesitant. If it wasn't a political movement and you wanted to say your piece, fantastic, go for it. I won't get in your way. I will care about what you're doing pretty much the exact same as a homeless person that's 50 yards away from me that I'm oblivious to exactly somebody who's living in the life of luxury. I just don't care. I want to do my stuff. You get to do your stuff. Fantastic. But because it's a political movement, that's why I'm hesitant. And if I disagree, therefore racist. And okay. So I was very hesitant about this, and I read it the first time through, and then I realized how wrong I was. And I started thinking about it in a different way, and I'd love to go in that direction. So let's go ahead and get into this article. So Black Survivor contestants say the show perpetuated racist stereotypes. I just got boiled down to a simple trope of a lazy, unintelligent person, said contestant Chatia Hart. Well, that's a black name. Chatia? I don't know. That's racist. I don't know what country that's from. That's not American. That's not an American black name. Like John Smith is an American white name, or Joe Pezial would probably what was it, like Swedish fatherhood would probably be Swedish, a Swedish white person. It's just I don't know if that's actually a Hart. I think is, but I've never seen that first name before. So let's just go with Mrs. Hart. I'm probably going to be pissing off a lot of people today. That's racist. Probably. So amid the continuing the BLM movement, TV cast members are speaking out about racism on set and treatment of black characters, including both Vanessa Morgan and Asha Bromfield on Riverdale and Nicole. Oh my gosh, I don't care about these people. Now, past contestants of the CBS reality TV show Survivor are speaking up about how the show fed into racial stereotypes. I became the lazy person, which is the furthest thing from the truth. That really set me up. It took me a long time to get over it, she added, to realize we signed our life away. They can do whatever whatever they want to do. And that's pretty much it. And it's like, well, it's just the stereotypes, because what was the number? Here we go. During a June... Is this one it? Excuse me. Where was the number? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom. Yeah. Over its 40-season run, Survivor has only seen 4 black contestants take home the $1 million prize. So, out of the 40-season run, 4 of those 40, so 10% of the black contestants... Whoa! Wait a second. Oh my gosh, I actually thought this was like... I was going to say that this is actually a legitimate thing. But whatever the population is, if 40... Okay, so... what is the percentage of people who signed... that's a good question, because one of the first things that happened in my mind was 10% of... 10%... 4 of the 40-season run, and I have that correct... 4 of the 40 season run Survivor game series. So 4 out of 40 is 10%. And if you have 10% of the contestants, okay, to take out home, which with most seasons only starring 2 or 3 black contestants out of 16. How is that an issue? I guess the only issue would be if there's a quote-unquote oversaturation of white people, but even if it's an oversaturation of white people, you also have to take into account there's no information we get out of here. There isn't. We do not see how many black people actually sign up to do Survivor. We really don't. Now, the portrayal of who you are, if you've ever seen Master Chef, they make a few people look like idiots. They make a few people look like villains. They make a few people to look like heroes. But in the reality of it, Master Chef, a phenomenal series, I think up to about season 4, season 5. After that, don't watch anymore. I loved it. But then when I understood that, holy crap, they actually were manipulating the audience to show characters that were not who they were in the real world, that it kind of like blew the entire thing out of proportion, and not out of proportion, it blew the magic of the show for me. And that was probably like last year. But again, if you're signing up for a TV show, it is staged, it is manipulative, it is, again, the show Floor is Lava from, I think, Netflix, but it's on game show networks, game show TV shows. I've seen this with my family over the weekend, and it's such a stupid show. It was on for the sake of it being on, and that's why they were watching it. but the show, I think, is stupid. The entire thing seems staged, and if we go to one particular scene, it looks like he's looking at the camera. Which one was it? Right here, they're all discussing. There's 3. There's a team of triplets that are trying to cross all the platforms here, and you have to. It's sort of like a puzzle, and you have to get from on the right hand side here. There's a doorway, so you go from. Let's see if I can show it again. On the top left hand corner, they all start from that little corridor, and then they go all the way to the right. To the right-hand side where the right-hand triplet is, that doorway. But they all have to go there together. If you lose one member, that'll count against your end score. Depending on the time that you get there, it'll affect your end score. Now, the entire show is based off of this. It is so staged. I don't want to play any of it because I don't want to get copyrighted and have an entire video taken down out of all the effort that I've put into it. It might not be as much as other people, but it's time, energy, and effort that I don't want to be taken away because of a copyright infringement. So the entire show feels staged. Like, hey, give me your hand! It just feels fake. It is such a... The concept is kind of cool. I gotta give it that. but the character, they try to make it so over and outlandish that it makes it feel fake. And that's what the producers, the editors, they all come into the very end product of creating something that's trying to manipulate you to feel a certain thing. The same thing happens with Survivor. It's a show, and if the producers of Survivor are trying to make racist stereotypes, one, it is the decision of the Survivor producers, not the people who are oblivious to their editing in the background. Now, the people who are listening or watching Survivor may be ignorant about how they are manipulating the people and characters on the show. But if you're ignorant, that is a different activity other than the conscious choice of making a person a racist stereotype. And if they made somebody lazy in person, one of the issues I had with this was, what was one of the quotes? Watching over the students, good job connecting a degree of... I have a degree in nuclear engineering from a top engineering school. I'm a mother. I work in national security. I'm a very well-rounded, and I just got boiled down and simply to a simple trope of a lazy, unintelligent person. Now, here's the question. Have they done this with any white people? Because if they done this with any white person, or what are the statistics of this happening with a white person? It's a very important question. If I, with the Black Lives Matter movement, that I'm supposed to look at your race first, and your skin color is apparently your race, which is entire BS, it's like, hey, you white person, what do you mean, me? Okay, can you please say that I'm German? No. I mean you as a white person. Okay, well, you as a black person. Because anybody from Ghana and Kenya, they're the exact same person. There's the different culture, they're just the same. That doesn't make any sense. Again, if we either look at skin color, we also have to take that person's culture and the background and their genetics into account. But if we don't take their genetics, their skin color, their heritage, for example, it's that regardless of whatever place you came from, it's how you act now. So that's the divide that I have. I don't care about your skin color, but if I'm supposed to care about your skin color, am I not supposed to have some stereotypes about your skin color in itself? It's like, oh, you are a insert skin color, therefore... Oh, no. Just, you're supposed to... Why am I supposed to look at... I know you have a skin color of a certain thing. What does that mean? I don't care about that. If I'm supposed to care about that, and you don't like what tropes I come up with, that just doesn't make any sense. It's one of the biggest reasons why I hate the LGBT and Black Lives Matter movement. Am I supposed to look at your race and make judgments based off it, or am I supposed to look at your race and not make judgments on it? Am I supposed to look at your race or your specific skin color and make different, or make the same judgment that if it was a white person or black person, I don't give a fuck? But if you are a black person and another white person comes over and there's a quote-unquote oversaturation of white people that have joined into, like, let's just say a Frisbee golf team, which Frisbee golf is a phenomenal game. It's definitely a white man's game because, you know what? You throw a Frisbee. It's not difficult. That's why it's a white man's game. It's just like... it's like badminton. Boing. It's just like throwing a badminton on the side. It's not a difficult sport at all. So that's why I can say it. So it's funny because it's offensive, but we know that it's offensive and it's wrong to actually believe that. That's why I think it's funny. So if I am supposed to that's at least my reasoning and logic that I'm justifying my entire behavior right now. But if I'm supposed to look at your skin color and your skin color, and you want something that if I was to look at a different person, another person with a different skin color, are you associating a certain amount of anything to that person that they had nothing to do with society? But if society is more accepting to white people, just for an example, and a white person and a black person come up, and am I supposed to treat the black person differently because of their skin color? Or am I supposed to look at the black person and the white person and say, okay, who's the best for the job? Who's the best for the team? Who shows the most character, the highest character traits for being part of a team? And if it happens to be either more black people or more white people, which again, it's a division rather than, I think, male and female, because it doesn't matter about your skin color. What matters most, yes, I'm going to say it, might sound sexist, is either being a woman or a man. And there's a big difference there. Men and women are inherently different. And you know what? I'm willing to die on that hill because science, I love saying that, science, it's like men and women value different things. The chemistry and biological makeup of a man and a woman are just fundamentally different. That how you act, if you want to act feminine, you get to act feminine. I don't care. I just don't care. But with the LGBT group, if I'm supposed to look at your sex, if I'm supposed to look at your gender, I'm supposed to accept for whatever you are, if I say something that are you not supposed to accept whatever I think, whatever I identify as, and if you disagree with my identity, can I not disagree with your identity? Which is, it's just a loop of nonsense. Am I supposed to look at your skin color? Am I not supposed to look at your skin color? Am I supposed to take things into account? Am I supposed to assume certain things about a black person, which again is inherently a racist, would be a stereotype? It's like, oh, you're as a white person, you have money. Oh, that's bullshit. I don't think you've ever seen a white person before. There's plenty of white people that are just, oh man, the amount of money that I have in my bank would actually be ridiculous. I made a horrible purchase. I made a horrible decision because I have a natural innate, well, not naturally innate, but I have a habit. I have had a habit, and I'm working on the habit of trying to get rid of the money in my bank account because I don't like myself. I'm very aware of that. That's something that I'm working on. It's like I don't like life. I don't like money. It's more of the symptom. I'm trying to find what the problem is. It might be because I might not be social in my own world. I don't know. Let me turn that AC off. But regardless of whatever my background is, it's just whatever your character is. And if I have some certain natural tendencies to do something because of, let's just say, my skin, of my quote-unquote heritage, it doesn't matter about what my past heritage was. If my past heritage was bad, I need to be going towards what's good. It does. If the last two people in my life, I'm not saying that this is the case, but if my mother and father did bad things, I need to not be doing those bad things regardless of whether or not it's part of my past heritage or culture. I need to be doing what's correct, what is the truth. We need to be going towards what's good, what's moral, what's correct, what's right. And if you start focusing on skin color, well, if you're black, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything. Well, why do I have to focus on it? Because you need to be aware of certain things. Why me specifically? Because everybody needs to be aware of black. Again, the moment that you step over the line, there is no end. And I'm drawing the line and saying if I'm supposed to look at your skin color, but what about, like, again, it's not about racism. It's oh my gosh. Because if at any single point that a TV show or producer or company would like to stereotype you as a certain character, have they done it to white people? Or are you only looking at black things? And have you looked at Asians? How many what's the Asian representation? And if we look at white people and black people, why do we call them Asians rather than yellow people or red people for Native Americans? It's all offensive if it's other than either white or black, because we call Asians Asians. So if you're from Korea, China, that's pretty much it. Those are the only two places. Japan. Man, there was like another one that I was thinking about. What was the... Oh, there was a southern country. Oh, I am so good. In Asia. I'm trying to think of what the most southern country... I'm going to beat myself up over the side of the head if I don't figure that out. I'll be right back. Okay, I actually had to look up a map. The one that I was thinking about is Indonesia, either Thailand or India, and I'm not too certain about all these ones because it just doesn't say any, I can't read it, but again, Korea, Japan, China, Mongolia, Kazakhstan I think would be more considered the Middle East, India, Thailand, Indonesia, these places are considered Asian culture. An Indian would be considered Asian culture because it is part of that place. It being from America is, again, everybody in South America, if you say, oh, I'm from America, okay, you mean South America? No. North America. Oh, not North America, the United States. It's a very specific, terminology, and it might be kind of racist to say. I don't know where I'm kind of deviated from this one thing, but if we really want to talk about whether or not it's actually racist, I actually am curious of whether or not it's actually racist. 10% of the black contestants, but what's the percentage of people who have survived? Is it within margins? Has only about 10, 15, 20% of black contestants have even considered signing up to be a part of a survivor? If it's a, if what if they actually did it based off merit or character? Because you gotta rack in those. Maybe you could have maybe you can be an intelligent human being, but the producers on the show just want to make you look like a fool. And if you come out maybe like how I'm doing it, stuttering, trying to think on your just thinking out loud, and you kind of make yourself look like a fool. But you might be a very intelligent person behind the scenes that might not show on stage, or you might have more moments while you're talking and communicating where you're stuttering. Can that be something that they could take because you signed, hey, you can record me all day and edit it however you want? You give them that right whenever you do that. So it's their fault for making you racist, but you joined you joined the show. It's your fault they made you look like a racist. It's like I'm sorry they did that to you, but I signed up for the military. It's not the military's fault if they send me to battle and then I die. It's my fault I signed up and joined the army. It's your fault if you joined the freaking company. If you sign away on paper certain things, you don't have a drop of the hat. I have no responsibility in this. I hate that type of mentality. I'm sorry this happened to you. It sucks. But what level of responsibility do you have for having signed up for a show that has been running for 40 years, and then you were oblivious of all the things that have happened? If I joined the military, for the military to be around for as long as it was, and I went in and I was ignorant about what it was, oh, it's the military's fault I was ignorant. It was the military's fault they did stuff to me. No, not at all. It's my fault. It's my fault that I did what I did. It's my fault that I signed up for certain things. It's my fault that I was deaf, dumb, and stupid. It was my fault that I was young or ignorant about the world at the time that I actually came into the military. It's like, I'm sorry these things happened to you. Shut up. It's like, I'm sorry. Okay. But again, the biggest question that I have is whether or not it's actually racist. I don't think it's racist. I actually think it's just, because there's not enough information out there for me to care about whether or not it's racist. If you want me to focus on your skin color and then have, okay, what does that mean? Where do we go with that? If it is representing of a certain caricature, do they do that with anybody else? And if they do, it's not just about Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter triumphs over anybody who's from India. Indian stereotypes that have gone into Survivor. If there are 20 people, five people that sign up for Survivor, and none of them get in, and if they get in, they're more stereotyped than black people, then black people are actually triumphing over, like white people did to black people are now doing it to everybody else. But that type of conversation is inherently racist, because if you bring up a point that's other than a part of the political movement, therefore racist, sexist, homophobe. It's just annoying. It really is. I was going to give this place the benefit of the doubt because I started reading about, if you sign up for a reality TV show, something like Floor is Lava is fake. Master Chef is fake. I mean, they may have some real moments of actually who wins, but everything's staged. And with this, they can pick and choose which ones that would create a more, conflicting or grasping thing. It's like, oh, there's a black person who's just deaf, dumb, and stupid compared to a white person. Well, again, they're creating the show, and the people who may be watching this, which I have never seen a full episode of Survivor. I've probably seen a full episode. Let me rephrase that. I've never seen a complete season. I might have seen one episode, but I've seen scenes from here and there. I'm very aware of the show. I've never seen a full season. I didn't care. I don't care at all. But Gosh. Now I was gonna go into Ip Man, but let's go into that now. Oh man, that was a bit crazy, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts and feelings. I'd love for you to post your comments, questions, concerns right down below. We'll see where it goes, but oh man, just the number one thing is, one, if you want me to look at your skin color, I don't mind looking at your skin color. But if you're going to tell me that I have to look at your skin color, why? What am I supposed to be looking at your skin color? Why am I supposed to look at your skin color? What things are associated to black people within society? And if I ask questions and proves what you think is false, I'm not a racist for following the facts. For example, again, there's many stereotypes of a white person. One of them would be Antifa. The majority of them are rich, white people who don't have a purpose in life, and because they have such luxury and don't even have to think about where their poop goes, they're trying to fix the ills of society they're making up in their heads. Or it's based off a grain of truth, and they just overextended and over-exacerbated. So white people have a bane. It's called the left. It is literally called liberalism, leftism, because it is an actual virus that gets into your head. It makes you weaker. It points out other people that they have to be weaker. You're not stronger. They have to be weaker. They have to change. Well, what about you? No. Society has to change. Well, if society has to change, do you have to change? And if you have to change, go ahead and change. Be a leader. It's like you won't find any leaders on the left because they don't care about leaders. They want everybody to be the same. That's the way I look at it. I am by no means part of the right. I am a conservative by default because of the insanity of the left. I would love to be part of the left. I love challenging. I'm more of an antagonist. That's just my very nature. I don't care if I have had issues with the right. I've had my issues with people who are ethno-nationalists. Because again, if we're going to be focusing on skin color rather than your character, which is that can always be adopted, there's certain people that just don't care about that because the majority of people don't. Yeah, I could probably understand that, but we can't base a society off of your skin color and grow. It's one of the reasons as to why America became such a great place and kept growing and growing and growing towards more natural rights, more recognition of the natural rights that each and every single sovereign person within society was given. Now, I might have that sovereignty wrong about the individual, but there was about the innate value of the individual because you were created by God. You were created because your rights don't come from... Now, again, I try to think about this through. It's like I'm a Christian by default because of the insanity of the left. Because if everything is subjective, therefore, okay... If everything is subjective, that's BS. You know that's BS. Everyone knows that's BS if you really challenged it. Because if there is an objective standard, you can at least question as to the validity of that standard. But if everything is subjective, then anytime that something becomes political, if you disagree with me, I can come after you. Because it's just subjective. It's not wrong for me to kill you, or to rape you, or to pillage from you. It's not wrong for me to call you a racist or a bigot, or even claim that you're a rapist, or that you're a pedophile. I can call these things to you, and I'm not wrong. Therefore, if you disagree with me, I'm going to call you wrong, and then I'm going to send the government after you, which they're making an objective claim when by any time that they're challenged, they put their hands up and say it's subjective. And again, white people are really a bane in society. It's just, white people. Oh, man, white people. So again, if we're talking about skin color, we understand that whew. Oh, man. Like, I don't care. If you want me to care, there's some questions I have. And if I ask questions, and I am considered anything but, it's not anything but, I might be wrong. I might be incredibly wrong. I might have a racist thought. But I need to think out loud. I need to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay, but it's not okay to continue being wrong, knowing that you're wrong. That's at least my take on it. I'd love to hear what you think. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns down below. I'm terrified about what may happen or what may may come about from that, but I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see what your thoughts on that on that are. I don't really care what anybody's political idea is. It's like if somebody votes for Hillary Clinton, at least have a reason for it. That's my only criteria. If it's like you hate Trump and you don't like what Trump represents because of X, Y, and Z, you know what? I think you are wrong. But I don't think you're evil. I don't think you're stupid. Because if you at least have a reasoning about it, again, I'm ignorant about a few things, and I think and feel a certain way, and I'm proven wrong very often. I don't care what you actually think. I care that you actually have a thought as to why you think that way. So, I love Pokemon, the original first 2-3 generations. I think we're on generation 10. I don't really care at all. I don't care about generations 4 through 10 or wherever we are right now. I don't. But if somebody who continues playing Pokemon, they say that Generation 8 is the objectively best one, I might think you're stupid for thinking that, which, I kind of contradict myself. But, and it's one of those, like, I might be wrong. But again, what's your reasoning for thinking that? And if I don't even have a reason for thinking that you're stupid, I'm the one that's wrong. Again, we got to get that voice out there, in our opinions. It's okay to be wrong. More importantly, it's okay to disagree. But then at the end of the day, drink beer together, have fun, create stories, share stories together. Again, it's like one of those things that I would probably have I would probably bitch, whine, moan, and complain even more to the actual person who's saying this, Jatia Hart. I'd probably say this to her face. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I think you're wrong. She thinks I'm wrong. And she, gives proof. And you know what? I might learn from her. The conversation's important. So that's the important part. And again, all of this is so, in my opinion, stupid because it's based upon what I think is that she's blaming a racist stereotype from the producers that she signed to give them license to do whatever. Now, by all means, voice your opinion and get it heard, but I have some questions as to whether or not it's actually dedicated towards black racism, and what's the percentage of any other white racism? Have they shown a white person to be stupid? Have they highlighted men to be better than they actually are? Then that would be more sexist, which, again, I have questions before I can say definitively, yes, it's absolutely 100% racist. You might feel that way. I have questions. So... oh, Floor is Lava, you are a bane, you are a thorn in my side. It is such crap television that I love it. It's just horrible. Absolutely. Okay, let's get into Ip Man 2. I have been talking for 30 minutes about that. I thought I was going to talk about it for like 5 or 10, but I'm going to go through Ip Man 2, and I really just, I want to go over... I'm going to go through start to finish, and I'm just going to skip about how many, whoa, stop. Okay, let me mute that just in case. I don't want any copyrighted infringement issues, so, slam, strike on the channel, demonetized. We have to first be demonetized for that to happen, but I want to go through the show and highlight a few things about what they did right, what they did wrong, and this would be something that you could make a video out of. But I'd like to just do this as a one time. We'll probably do this in a much better format. I'd love to do these just like live chats. I'd love to live chat with people. That's the format I would prefer to have. Make an hour, 2-3 video talking to people and actually have their inputs. I'd love to actually have like a whiteboard on the screen and people in the live chat. And record both the whiteboard, the whiteboard and the live chat. And the live chat are giving ideas about the type of story that we could be having, and maybe even having a co-host who can maybe record some of the information or something. And then we create a story together. Like, let's just say that the world is burning outside. Maybe there is a legitimate place in my city that's burning, and it's national news. Well, I need to get the heck out of Dodge. I need to be safe. I need to make certain. But if it's literally just a self-contained BS moment in, cultural rift, why should we focus on that? Let's create something. That's what's important. Again, it's like one person shouts out, it's like, yeah, make them gay. Why? Because I'm gay. Okay, let's make them gay. So it's like, it's just those things of like, well, I wasn't going to go in that direction, but I don't see why not. Let's do it. And then we roll with that. And then it's like, okay, now let's give her a laser beam. Why? Shooting out of one eye. Okay, we're going a little bit too nuts on this, but let's keep going. And then, you know what? She's just a head. And she's an anthropomorphic... I'm probably butchering that word. Anthropomorphic head of a fox that talks in English dialect, broken English dialect that was created by a mad genius, mad scientist that came from the top of a mountain, and the mountain is named Air Bloomendale. Why do they call it Air Bloomendale? Because the mountain is actually floating above the volcano. There's a mountain floating above a volcano. Yes, because of the magnetic. You can keep going with that, but just creating a story like that. That's the format I want to do. I think that would be fun. And if I realize that it's not what I would want to do, I still want to produce something that would be interesting for people who come here and watch. That's like I really just want to like make people happy. That's one thing. I got to make myself better skilled and better orator, and maybe even having a visual side where you're actually seeing my face. But I enjoy just making it audio only. That way I can focus primarily on what to say rather than to look or demonstrate how to say it. I enjoy that most. So let's go through this. So Ip Man and all the other characters in this entire movie, I don't know, except for Fatso. That's probably the only guy that I actually know. That and Tornado. Tornado, the announcer, Master Hung or something. I don't know. And we're just going to go with the general plot spoilers because we will be going with spoilers. So Master Ip, or Ip Man, whatever his actual last name is, but we're going to go with Master Ip, or Ip Man. Ip Man is actually, after he's gone through the war, they traveled somewhere else, I think to live with his aunt, somewhere in, I think, Hong Kong. I might be wrong with that. But he's going to be setting up a dojo. So after the war, goes to a new city, is setting up a new dojo. Oh. Okay, if this is going to be the issue, I'm going to have to probably press the right button and then pause. So he keeps trying to find it. They're talking about the location. He makes some posters. And this one scene really gets me because Donnie Yen, whoever the actual martial artist in this film is, being a Wing Chun master, I think is, I think it's Donnie Yen, but we're going to go with Donnie. Mr. Donnie. Yep, the acting just is horrible. Because I don't know if this is a cultural difference, but in this one scene at 3:46, you see that there's a dialogue between him and the aunt, but when he's saying like yes or no, he has this awkward, just utterly awkward yes or no. And it kind of took me out of the moment. Like, it took me out of the moment. Like, it's not like yes or no, or I feel sad or I feel happy. It's literally like this is his first gig, his first acting job, and this is what he's trying to act. He's trying to act, but doesn't know how to act, even though it's his second movie, at least his second movie. There's nobody that's coming to his dojo. He's locked up. And then he goes to town, he does some stuff, sees some family, picks up family. They don't have rent money, so they have to be at home. His wife comes to see him, which again, the wife is absolutely a delight. The wife is the strongest person in the show, in my opinion, because she actually does make Ip Man who he is. Her emotional strength is shown through the entire thing. There may be some flaws, or her acting might be a bit silent or off, but her as a character is phenomenal. She's taller than Ip Man, which, again, kind of awesome. You usually see a smaller woman, but having a taller woman, and a woman who's so feminine, someone who's maybe a bit more quiet, but has that subtle strength and support for Ip Man. It's phenomenal. I love her character. I love what they did with this. I know I don't know how accurate it is because it's more Hollywoody or Chinese propaganda stuff, but I don't know who produced the film, but they did a phenomenal job with her. So he's just waiting. Auntie is going to be doing some laundry, and then Ip Man's going to come over and do the laundry for her. She's happy. There's a new quote-unquote potential student that comes over and is eager and is wanting to do some fighting with the teacher here. And he's a cocky as hell young kid. And Ip Man agrees and kicks his butt. So let me just go ahead a few. Kicks his butt in a wonderful way. Promised that he would actually go and pay the fees for the actually pay for the fees for the school, but he doesn't. It's kind of funny. That scene shows it all. It's awesome. Oh man, the choreography in this. There's I don't know if they do it in the very beginning in this one fight scene, but they do it throughout the ending, in at least with Torpedo when he's fighting at the very end of this movie. The slow motion where they're trying to make things like whoa, so you get to see like a punch going very slow or something. They slow down the frames per second. It might be shot in digital. Whatever it is, it's horrific. It's stupid. If anything, pardon for my language, the slow-mo in this movie is shit. It really is. It takes me out of the moment every single time that they try to do something slow-mo because the frames per second goes down to 5 a minute. You get to it does. There's no fluid, smooth transition from one scene to the next. I would rather them have maybe slower points, or not where they slow down their strikes, but maybe more pauses in between those fast strikes. I would love that. Just the slow-mo in this entire show is just crap. The student, he gets defeated, and he runs away and brings some of his friends. The 3 friends are then commanded by that one guy who was cocky as hell and got his ass beat. Well, he tells them to go fight him. All 3 of them fail, and they would all 4 like to be his master. It's amazing. Or be his students. They get taught, more people show. It's pretty fun, pretty awesome. They don't have enough rent money, so he's asking for money, but a lot of them don't have a lot of money to pay for the bills, and he's very kind, but you get to see that he's a horrible businessman, and it has an effect on him. That he's not just this picture-perfect type of guy, he's a guy he doesn't want to owe people from the first movie, he doesn't want to owe people anything. That's awesome. I mean, it makes my heart hurt, because it's like, dude, you have all this potential, but you're not capitalizing on it. My goodness, it's like, I can sympathize, but come on. Oh, man. So she saves a bit of money. A guy from the first film who got shot in the head by one of the Japanese soldiers and military people. He was able to recover, but doesn't have any memory of Ip Man, and you get to see that. So a bit of craziness here going on. He's very sad. Again, the acting is okay. You don't need to be over dramatic. Something simple, something nice, boom, get it over with. Fantastic. Because the emphasis is on the guy who doesn't have his memory and is acting like a rabid animal rather than Ip Man. And I think they did pretty good in that scene. Ip Man is, I think, wanting a job here. I don't really remember. Rival place. A few rivals come over and challenge, or not challenge. I think he actually, the Wing Chun student who is cocky as hell, I think challenges them first, but they were being cocky as hell as well, so I think they were already challenging, they just didn't use his words. And I don't care what you learn, you're blocking my poster, which, again, that's a pretty good criticism. You're blocking somebody's poster. If you post something 5 minutes later while you're still, 5 seconds later while you're still standing there, another guy grabs their poster and puts it directly on top of yours while you're still standing there, oblivious to who you are, and you get angry as hell, you're the bad guy? This is like the one point in the entire film, 100, well, not the one point, but he's 100% correct. The cocky as hell student of Ip Man of Wing Chun. I think that's what it is. He's actually in the wrong. Again, that's good storytelling. The villain, right here, the antagonist, is not the antagonist. It's actually the student of the hero. He's the antagonist. He's not the villain. Neither of them are the villains. They're just two cocky students. And then Wing Chun Master challenges this one scene when he tries to throw his hat up on the very top, and it misses. That was great. That was great. He's not a master. He doesn't know how to do those things, but he tries to anyways. It's awesome. I love it when students fail and they're trying to show. It's just awesome. I don't know. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This one scene with the hat at 1807. It's great. Oh man. So they do their match. They fight each other. Wing Chun guy student is trying to get him to submit, but he's not submitting. So the three friends goes and takes him up and starts beating the hell out of him, and then kidnap him. That is the point at which they are now the villains. If they took him off and started beating the living crap out of him, while the student here was beating him until he would submit, like punch, submit, no, punch, submit, no, punch, submit. They're kind of both in the right and wrong. He's not submitting. He chooses to continue being punched. It's his choice. And the guy on top is giving him an option every single time, submit. Now, again, I think that the guy on top is a bit more, I think, quote-unquote in the wrong, but I think they're both on equal footing. You know, jokes aside. But the moment that the three guys come over to kidnap him, that's when they're in the wrong. That's when villainy, the villain, or the, is actually in place. Wing Chun Ip Man guy is smoking a cigarette. You don't see that in movies. This movie was made in 2010, and the hero is smoking a cigarette. Cigarette smoking is bad for your health, but in the 1940s or 50s, whenever this was actually happening in the real world, that was just a thing that people did. He's trying to process this. It's not a good thing. That's awesome. Again, it gives him a character flaw. It's not good. It's so good. I hope that made sense. So he goes to the fish market, and it's an incredibly over-the-top scene. I think A is okay, but it's way over the top in my opinion. Not bad, just way over the top. So he then tries to negotiate, saying like, here, I'm here for my student, please give him back. They give him his student in a moment, and he refuses to pay, so they all of them choose to go after Ip Man. And there's all this stuff. They all try to fight. Ip Man wins. But even the moment, which kind of baffles me, is that they all pick up an axe or a machete or something, and they're actually going to kill them. Which baffles my mind entirely as to, these people need to be shot. Like, they need to be tied up, put into a shallow grave, shot, and then buried, or buried alive or something. That is utterly evil. It's like kidnapping. I'm going to kidnap one of you, and if you don't pay, we'll kill you both. Like, it's absolutely horrific. It's like, I think it's more of like we're the bad guys, but they're trying to kill him. It's so evil. Oh my gosh. Again, it's just like, that's way over the top in my opinion. They could have done without the killing, or maybe just picking up non-lethal weapons like a broom or something. Not a broom, but maybe something that would hurt. Really hurt. I don't know what that is. Like if they got brass knuckles out, or if they had unsharpened blunt objects. Like they're just going to beat the crap out of him rather than kill him. That would be awesome. I think that's, if we change one thing, that's the one thing. Keep the weapons, but maybe like pick up a lead pipe or something. Something that could probably break your arm, but it wouldn't kill you. I know it's like, well, that's pretty bad too. Yeah, but you'd still be alive. It's like you could still fight. You could still live. You could still try to do stuff. He has a family at home. He has friends. He has students. Oh, there's such a difference there. Um, so he uses basic equipment throughout the factory. The student tries to help even though he's still tied. So 2 people versus 30, 40 people within the entire factory, and Ip Man and his student wins. That's over the top, but I like it. It's so over the... It feels like Jackie Chan when he was doing his movies. I thought that's awesome. I thought that was awesome. And then they're trying to fight. Ip Man uses a gigantic bamboo stick, but one cool thing that Ip Man has in his hands are, I don't know, machetes or something, cleavers. And what he does, and they actually make the emphasis of pointing it out, of taking an entire 2, 3, 4, 5 frames for you to look at it, is that he actually switches the sharp edge of the butcher's blade on both of the blades that he's holding, and he switches them to the blunt ends. So anytime that he hits somebody, it doesn't go through them or tear or make scratches. It'll just hurt like hell. That's awesome. Again, he has so much power, but is not killing. It's one of those moments of like, oh, you can't beat Ip Man, but it's not about you can't beat Ip Man. The people who are trying to fight Ip Man are incredibly outclassed. It's so great. And this cocky student here, he has chosen the right master, because if he chose any other master, he would have died long ago. long ago. So one other group, the villain, the pseudo villain in the first episode, or the antagonist, not the villain, but the antagonist in the first film, comes back. He's a friend. He has a wife and kid, and he now has a group. I don't know if these are his students, but he comes to save and help save the day. These moves that he's trying to are absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if this is a cultural thing as to this is what something like, is this like a peacocking moment or like a gorilla where you go like hoo and like you beat your chest and like throw up grass or something, you try to like claim dominance? Like, if it is, it looks weird. It looks off. Because all of them are stopping. They all have weapons and he's swinging his arms around. Y'all have the weapons. Attack him. You have a big stick. Poke him. It's like, I mean, I'm for the guy who came to save the day, but come on, villains. Come on, antagonistic people. Be better than that. I believe in you. He stops everybody. For whatever reason. The weirdest thing. The more people show up. It's so crazy. And then this master comes over, and he's the master of all the people who kidnapped the guy, which means that he's actually the villain, and it's so freaking nuts. I was going to go through the entire film, I really was, but we're 27 minutes in this film. I was going to go through the entire film. I was going to go through, but I started about 3 hours later than I normally did. Actually, about about 2.5 hours later than I normally would have started. And I've had a really big day, and I woke up at 5, traveling twice for a while. So, yeah. So I'm going to be cutting this short, but probably just talk about a few more things, and probably just... you know what? I'm going to end it off with one thing. This guy. The guy on the left-hand side. I don't know what his name is. He's a master. And he's a master of all the people in the fish market who kidnapped the guy and were going to attack. He puts Ip Man and his student in jail and in prison, and the guy who came to stop. He was in his right to do so, but he was very crooked in doing it. It was weird. But, I love it in stories where you create an antagonist who looks like the initial villain, and then a bigger, more dangerous villain comes up around and makes the villain, who you initially thought was the villain, as human. This guy, throughout the entire movie, I'm going to try to find a few places in here, he does a lot of fighting, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he fights Ip Man on top of a table, and I think the fight's pretty legit. Here. I couldn't find it. It's probably... give me one moment to find it. Is I think it's close to. Oh wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. In this one scene, you even get to see it in the a few scenes after this. Is that the initial villain is someone who makes trouble with Ip Man, breaks his stuff, goes into his send his people to go into their neighborhood and trash the place, try to break him down, say nobody tries to prevent students from going and seeking him out, and he's more of a thug, if not like a mafia person. He's the head honcho in this quote unquote club. And one thing is that he shows is that every single person here is every daughter that he has, because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. I think I might be wrong with the exact number, but 6 of the 7 children are daughters, while his youngest is his son. And the reason that his son is so fat, which you'll see in a second, that I didn't realize is that until my mother brought this up while we were watching this together, is that the son is the only son he has after having 6 daughters. It's like he's grateful to have all the daughters the way that they are. Each daughter looks well fed, prim, proper, well hygiened. They well educated. He actually tells this daughter of his on the right hand side, that at the very end of the table, to stop studying and eat, which means that shows like he's taking care of his children. They're in a great place. It's like wife, more porridge, please. He says please. The moment where he was an incredibly hard, I'm not gonna say hard ass, but definitely a difficult person to work with. Somebody who is like, you know what, if you got shot twice in the heart, I'd probably be the third person on top of you pissing on you because of how horrible you treated everyone around you. But again, he's human. He has a family he is taking care of. He has reasons within the entire movie as the initial antagonist, the initial villain, as he acts this way because of the business he has to deal with, the British or the Americans. Now, in this film, they actually call all white people white devils, and it's like, well, can I call it's just on the nose. Now, I understand why they would say that because of how it would look, but again, I think is a Chinese propaganda to showcasing how amazing and glorious Chinese martial arts is and China itself. With that aside, I think it's phenomenal to do it this way. Let's close that. And so it's like, you've not been eating well lately, and to his very, very fat child right here, his only son, which again, how would you as a father feel not being disappointed that you didn't have a successful birth and a successful child, but daughter after daughter after daughter after daughter, and you're a father? It's the same as with a mother. You have a son after son after son after son, and then the last one's a daughter. How would you treat the daughter? It's one of those things like you probably indulge. You probably give everything you can to that daughter. It's like, I finally have a daughter rather than just a son. I finally have a son rather than just daughters. I love each and every one of my children, but finally I get this special gift. And it's like he's getting this child, his last child is going to probably die from diabetes or something at an early age. But again, you get to see that it's like he really does care about each and every single one of his children, and he's actually indulging and wanting to give more and more to his one and only son. And again, he has a very nice, lovely family. It's pretty freaking awesome to see. And he sends all those people to go and beat up the neighborhood. In this neighborhood, the master is going to be fighting Ip Man, and he's interrupted by their child and then family. Yeah, so he picks up the son who was right behind Ip Man, picks up the son who was right behind him, and then uses him as a shield. Which, if you take that in consideration, he literally picked up a child of the guy who fought him and held him in between. I don't consider that to be good. He could have not pushed the child out of the way, but put his hand up and pointed or something. Ip Man is not the hero in this scenario. Yeah, he does have 6 daughters and 7 total. that It Man on the right hand side actually used a baby, not a huge, big, fat baby, a child as a shield, and not even just a child, his child on the left hand side. That's nuts. Again, you create that dynamism. I'm using that word correctly. The dynamics of both the good and the bad, the moral and the immoral. Is that It Man? He smokes. It's not a good activity. It's not. He used a human child as a shield. It's like he's impervious to weapons and stuff, but he's still human. He may not be able to take care of his wife because of his poor management activities, even though it's a business that he wants to run. Again, may win out at the end, but along the way, It Man is still human. I think it's Mr. Hung or Master Hung on the left-hand side. But the Master, his family comes over, and you know what? The one thing that he asks them, what do y'all want to eat? And all the children, or I think one of the children say, ice cream. And they all say like, yeah, ice cream. And he says, after you eat your meal, so let's go actually eat something first. So he cares about his family. He loves his family. He loves every single child of his. They're all, I would say, prim and proper, but they're like of wealth and established, not establishment, but they're well established. They're of the high society, but he cares about them. He is a family man. I love that aspect about the film. I absolutely love everything about that. When you have a good villain, just like with Thanos, I think Thanos from Infinity War in Avengers is one of the greatest villains I've ever seen. Because a great villain is someone who is wrong on all of his logic and reasoning, but he's trying to do good. And he's not failing. He's succeeding. It's like, let's for an example from the very beginning, and I'm going to be even detrimental on this. I'm not going to attack anyone else or anything else. It's like, let's just say that there's an actual supremacist out there, okay? And a black supremacist. And they're out there, or white supremacist, wanting to kill... Oh, man, I'm trying to think of something that's not as divisive as that. Because that's too divisive. Let's not choose that. Let's just say... let's go with the exact same example of Thanos. I think that's a bit more fair. Is that if he had the literal most infinite power in the entire universe to make anything that he wanted, he could have made more money or create systems and structures within every single society and life form and planet, etc., to have everything they need to continue growing indefinitely. But the one thing that he thought about was, well, again, his thought process was, it needs to reset. We need to purge half of the population everywhere in order to make certain that the society can that the species can keep growing. One of the issues that they show is that, well, that it actually was working, but I'm glad and grateful that they actually showed that there was more harmful, detrimental effects. But unfortunately, they didn't show it to a great degree, because if you cut out half the population randomly, that's not even just people, it's systems that are destroyed. You can't, half of the population is destroyed. How long does it take for people to start creating those systems back up again? How long does it take for that technology to come forth? The prior systems that were there, do they continue? Is there a power grab? And if there are power grabs, there's now war. And you've regressed the population. You've purged half the population, but you also purged half of the total progress that has happened, period. Because if let's just say half of the dictators on the earth were killed, destroyed, wiped out, what are the effects of people who are now trying to claim power? Do they reserve? Are they hesitant to be with people? Well, the Avengers were all, let's just say, American. They were or part of the United Nations. Well, why would I want to deal with the United Nations for having failed this activity? I wouldn't want to give them any more power. I wouldn't have anything to do with them if they failed to do the one thing that they were given the authority to do. It's one of, like, all these things could have been discussed in the fallout in Endgame about what happened with Thanos snapping the fingers, spoiler warning, snapping the fingers and wiping out half of all of life in existence. That's the one thing that they could have explored. It's like they could have explored a little bit more, which is why Endgame, the only two great things that came from Endgame, in my opinion, are Iron Man, his send-off, and number 2, Captain America, Rogers. I hate death scenes. I hate when a character arc ends. I hate that. But if you're going to end a character off, if you're going to stop it, if you're going to have that character be no more, boom, we're done with this character, you send him off right. Have him have a completion in his journey. With I think it was Roy Rogers, I don't remember, Steve Rogers. When Steve Rogers, Captain America, he went back in time and actually lived his entire life. He had a life. And every single episode, every single movie, Steve Rogers, Captain America, has ever had a movie, they've always discussed being a fighter, missing out on life, missing out on family, missing out on this. And they go full circle, and they complete all those missing holes in his life. At the very end, and you get to see just a little glimpse of it before he's too old to fight anymore. I love that. If you you can kill off a character. Do it right. Iron Man was the crux of the entire Avengers Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe to me is dead. It's done. I'm not going to be interested in watching anything else. I think all of them are dumb and stupid at this point. Anywhere that they explore, I don't care. It ended for me with Endgame, and I even ignore some of the points that happen in Endgame. But with killing off Iron Man like that, that's great. I think it was a little dumb or stupid that it kind of felt so narrow that only Iron Man was the one that had to use the gauntlet to do what he did. But it came full circle saying that I am Iron Man. That was awesome. There was phenomenal music videos that could come from that. That was amazing. It sucked. I don't like that he's dead. But he had an entire arc of don't waste your life. Don't waste your life, Tony. Don't waste your life, Stark. That Yinsen in the cave in 2008 said to Iron Man, said to Tony Stark, don't waste your life. And he saved everybody. That's how you do it. It's like, I hate what they did with Thor. They made him fat, dumb, and stupid. Like, I know that there's regret, but they made him fat. Fat Thor is the worst Thor ever. And they ended him off and gave the powers to someone else. If you want to retire the guy, I don't mind the retirement. But they retired Thor in the worst way. Like, oh, I don't care about this anymore. Okay. But it's like, maybe you could have made her second in command, and then in the next film, showcase how you have other things that you want to do with your life, that it's not just living a life. There's no life for you to live. It's like, well, I'm going to live a mortal life. I don't get that. It's like, I don't get that. Maybe he gives he gives her the command, but maybe he gives her, whoever the Valkyrie was, the command of the ship and become the actual leader of everybody, but he gets his agency and does his own thing in other worlds or something. I think that would be a good send-off. It's a win-win situation. You just don't have to you don't have to poop on men, or poop on favorite characters to make other characters look better. Black Widow died the right way, in my opinion, because she fought with Hawkeye before. Again, spoiler warning, it's been out for a while. Black Widow died saving Hawkeye, and they're not brother and sister. They're not, and I know this is going to sound weird, they're not husband and wife, they're not lovers, they're not family. There's something deeper than that. That they just have this unspoken bond of utter trust, devotion, care, and consider for the other person. And they will fight tooth and nail to help them. Even if they were fighting in Civil War, they're still friends. They're still family. They're just fighting. That's awesome. And if you kill off a character, they think they did it right. And it just that was a heart-wrenching moment to seeing her die. It really was. Because they both fought to kill themselves for the stone to be given to them. Oh, it was so I think they did it right. But then they came out with a movie of a prequel that should have happened before Endgame. That was I haven't watched it. I don't know if it's out yet. I'm not planning to watch it. I don't care about it anymore. That sucks. I don't care about what happens with the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore, even if they made prequels. I'm done with it. I'm glad I watched it all. I started from 2008. I've watched Iron Man probably about 20 times. 40 times. I would bet that it's at least 50. Nah, 50 is way too much. Realistically, probably like 20. Probably 20. But it's in Ip Man 2. Again, I know that the entire movie is Chinese propaganda of showcasing of how the spirit and the magnificence of both Chinese martial arts and the spirit of China. But it's a good movie, and if it wasn't associated with China, with the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, I would be more okay with it. I'm a bit bothered by that fact. I don't know who made this film, but it's still a phenomenal story. Ip Man at the very end, after he beats, says, "Hey, guys, we're all equal." Like, that's interesting. We're looking at the integrity of the other person. They make white people in this very, like almost every single white person in this entire show. Almost every single white person is boo on you stupid Chinese. And then at the very end there's this camaraderie, and they stand up and applaud and for the Chinese or something. And that's one of the reasons as to why I hate going back to this. It's like, if I'm supposed to look at your skin color, there's many things that really do come about from that, because ethnic homogenous societies really do throw a wrench in ethnic diversity, because there are different cultures that different races, different skin colors, if you want to say, different ethnic backgrounds have and practice, and some cultures are, yes, better than others. I'm not saying America is better. I'm just saying that there are ones that are better. And if there are ones that are better, we need to be doing those things. If it happens to be American culture, we need to be practicing American culture. And if you think it's racist, then that means that certain cultures are either better, some are better, some are worse, and we actually need to be doing those things that are better, which goes into the entire fact as to why I think that the Black Lives Matter movement, LGBT group, I don't like them. I hate them. I hate the political groups. I am okay. I'm sympathetic. I'm actually a bit empathetic when you have a specific moment of racist being done to you. But in that same nature, I'm going to ask, okay, someone else also experienced it. Well, you're taking my experience away. No. I'm challenging you because I don't want you to say that this is the way that I have to think. And if it's the way that I have to think, I'm going to fight against it. Yeah, I could say a lot of things about Christianity, but not the fundamental truth of society is that there is an objective truth. Because if you remove an objective truth within life, anything that you say, more importantly what you vote for, it's evil. It's like you're saying that there's an objective standard, but then you throw up your hands when you're challenged and saying, oh, no, I think everything's subjective. But if you go against what I say, you're wrong. It's like, that's just so stupid. It really is retarded. I'm okay with being wrong. I hate being wrong. I think it's one of the most embarrassing things, being specifically caught on guard, thinking you know what the right thing is. But it's phenomenal when you get to actually learn what the correct way of thinking or the right information is. And then everybody around you being like, oh yeah, it's no freaking problem. Or challenging you and keeping you in check, because you know what? That's what a good friend does. That's what a good friend does. So everything's complex. It's all what Tim Pool would say. It's complicated. It is. Good villains are created by having a dynamic background. Now, being that monomonistic, I think I'm using the word wrong, but having a very one-sided, it's either black or white, it's either good or evil, one or two, red or blue. It's just having there's no shades in between. You can have that, and I think children's stories, that's good. But in the real world, you need to have that complexity of what is good and evil and then the blurred lines in between, because we don't know until things become more planned out, more played out. Things are unfurl. Things blossom from certain events, and then you start to get, and then you get to get the one thing that I love to say about, if you really want to figure out what's good and bad, law of comparison. Now, it doesn't mean what that thing is good or that thing's evil, but now, because we have, again, in this scenario, he is holding his son to stop the master from fighting him, and it's like that you took up a child, you took up his child, put him as a shield. That's wrong. In the moment, I thought that Ip Man was actually correct, but actually looking through this again, Ip Man used a child as a human shield. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, man. Anywho. Well, thank you for being a part of this. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please hit that like and subscribe button, because that would both thoroughly help this channel out, and you would see more recommended comments, more commentary, more videos of this type of the like. And most importantly, please enjoy the rest of your day. Go out there and be creative. Enjoy. Bye. See you next time.